Hi guys, I'm Asif Ali and you're watching CGHOW video. Today I created this energy burst effect in UE5 Niagara. And if you haven't subscribed my YouTube channel yet, please subscribe it. If you like this video, like, share, and comment, and let's start this.
CGHOW. CGHOW.
First of all, subscribe my YouTube channel and also click on bell icon so you will receive all new video notification. So I have found a reference on ArtStation and this looks really amazing. And I will not create this full effect. I will just take this last here from here. So this is rotating rings and some glow inside with some smoke. And I will just use the existing assets I have, the smoke or the fire or the debris that I already have. And because this looks really awesome and it must be took really long time to create this effect. Not very long, but at least more than 1 hour because this tutorial will not be longer than 1 hour. So I will try to manage how to create these things as fast as possible in this tutorial. Or not shooting things, so I will just create this effect from here. So this is here and then it's rotating and increasing the size with debris. So let's create that. So let's create the label. Then height or maybe let's take purple. Okay, and light maybe two. And if you will build this, so after light build you have this dark scene, so you can take one more directional light, make it movable and make it maybe 0.5, 0.3, 0.2. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, so we have this cool map for our effects. So let's create that. So what I have in this reference, it has these like a ring torus, which is also distorted a little bit. So I'll create a material for that. I have already a mesh. So let's just create a Niagara first. Okay. So FX and you have the rings. Okay. And in that ring, if I delete that and take a mesh, and if I search here in my project, static mesh and search ring, I have these like this ring, and this will work fine for me. So I will just browse this and use it here in the mesh. Okay, and let's create a material for that. Let's delete these things for now. So you have just spawning on a place, and but these are spawning too much, and I just need a burst, maybe 20 or maybe 10, I don't know, and I don't need a location. And then I need initial mesh orientation and random. Yeah, cool. This is random. And the life I will use uniform, maybe 2 seconds. Okay. And the size will be random. So I'll turn off these things. And in the mesh size, uniform, maybe 1 and 1.5. They have little offset or maybe 2, 1.6 maybe. Okay, then these are like very smooth rings. So now I will make a material for that. So M and rings. And if I preview that ring in my material, And if you see the UV of that ring, it is straight. So if I in the material take a texture coordinate and take the mask from that, oops, I preview. I have this mask, okay, and you can also take the texture, maybe blur, maybe noise that is blur like this. If I preview this, and now if I take the texture coordinate like this one here, I will name this for now. And also let's use a power so it will be little contrast there. And now if I let me just turn off my post process of material. In the tiling, if I added this maybe 0.1 in X, actually 2 in X and 0 in Y. So there will be lines like that, like that. Okay. So with that line, if you multiply a vertex normal, so there will be a random thickness of that. So I'll again take a multiplier to increase that offset. And let's preview that also. Maybe this. So if I increase this like 5, the white part should be more thick. Let it come. So nothing changed because I'm previewing this. Let's turn this off. Now you can see these parts are a little thick. So basically this is working like that. Okay, so now I will take a particle color and base color. Although these have to be black, but let's take the particle color. And then a dynamic parameter for the tiling. So we need to multiply this. And this is tile, and let's also make a power tile, and this is your power. And save this. So now if I preview this material here, browse this and use that here, override. And let's also make this black. Now you can see the thing. And I'll take the dynamic parameter and tile default 1, power default 2. So now you can see I can have random tiling. So maybe I can take 5 and 1. So I will randomize between 1 and 5. So every ring has different tiling. Then this power. And also let's make a parameter for distortion. So this is WPO. WPO. Let's save this. So in here now distortion is by default 0. WPO. You can make it 5 again. So at 2 there's little bit, and 5 there's too much. So let's randomize it between 1 and 5. 1 and 5. Then there's a power. If you make it like 5 or 1 or default 2, this is also changing some pattern, so you can randomize this between 1 and 2. So basically now you have this. Okay, so all the rings have random things. And now I want to rotate it, so I will take the update and I want to rotate it on Z. But see, each ring is rotating on their own Z because it's taking a mesh. So I will take that world. So now these will rotate like that. Whatever rotation they have initially, but they will rotate on the Z here in the world like this. Cool. So what is happening basically, these are rotating and then they're changing the size after a while. So I will take a size, not this one, scale actually, scale mass, make it float and make it curve. So initially at point 2 the size is 1, and then at point 5 size maybe triple or maybe 4 times bigger or maybe 5 times bigger. So basically this will be like this. And when the size is increasing, I think the rotation also should increase. So if you'll see zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.5, so in here the rotation is 1. So I will use a curve here until zero point 0.2, zero point 0.2 or maybe zero point 0.3, this rotation is 1, and at zero point 0.5 rotation maybe doubles. Cool. And the life of these are 2, so here we need to increase it maybe 3 or 4. Cool. And maybe then I will put one more key, and at 1 rotation should be like 3 times before just finishing. Okay. So in the dynamic parameter WPO, maybe I will use 10 and 5. So it will be like this. And I will not use randomize every time. Let's make it local at determinism. So determinism will make it one look, and then it will be the same every time. If you want to change the look, you can change the seed. Like if I make the 1 or 5 or 20, yeah, this 20 looks better, I guess. So we can go with it. So let's save this and drag it into the viewport. So this is what is happening. I'll put it 0. And I guess this is very small, and it should be, yeah, this is very small. So let's make the size overall big. So I'll double it. So this will be 3, this will be 2. Yeah, cool. And the size will increase like very quickly like this. Cool. So there's some hot thing inside it, and the light also. So the light is increasing the radius. So what you can do, you can create a emitter for the light. Let's say you have this fountain and I rename it light. Okay. And I just need one particle. So I will just use a burst one, and it has this 4, and the life should be the same as my rings too. I don't need all these things. And let's make the color very hot so we can see that is the thing. And then we can use our light. So light radius is, if you'll see here, this is the color, and yeah, these are the bindings. They should be, I'm missing something. There should be a light radius thing that I can link with. Oh, yeah. These are the bindings. So there's the color and the radius. So radius is linked with light radius that you can animate. So let's say if you have here, if I search, no, we don't have that here. And if I search, no, we don't have that. So we can create our own. So the light radius is a float. So we can make our own float, light radius. Okay, so this is linked with that. Okay, light radius. So basically, there is no light here right now, but if I make that radius like 100, still not. So let's increase this thing. Okay, that is actually on 0. That's why we need little offset there. So I will make it like 100, or maybe 10. So now you can see the light radius is from here to here. And if I double the light radius here, maybe 200, now you can see it's increasing, or maybe 500. I need to actually offset the light also. So now you can see the light radius, and now if I decrease this like 5, there's no light because this light radius is working here. So let's say I need too much light, and also this should offset. So initially this should be, and let's make this whole effect little up here, little down. So let's make the offset 0 for now, and light radius maybe 200. Okay. And this thing is increasing the size from 0.3 to zero point 0.5, actually 0.2 to zero point 0.5. So in the light radius, I'll use a curve, and at 0.3, it is like 200, and at 0.5, it is like 2000. Okay, and I'll use light intensity too high. So if you'll see now, light is increasing, but initially I need a very less light, so maybe initially it is 20. See, the light is now animating when it's increasing the size, and I need it even more bigger, maybe 5000, and even more hotter, maybe more 10 times, like this. Okay, so this is what we have now. So now we can turn off the sprite render, so we will have just the light. And then when this is all this happening, there's debris that's coming out, and there is a hit mark on the ground, and then some fire left there. So let's add debris when it's rotating. So I'll create a emitter. I will take the fountain, and in the fountain, let's rename it debris. And instead of this, we need a mesh, and let's search debris mesh in my project. So I have like this. Let's just use this one only, and I will use that here. Okay, and the material, I can use the same material that I had for the rings. So if I use that here, actually you need to select the material and use it for debris also. So if I delete all these things for now, uh, and you have debris like this. So with the dynamic parameter, you can use a one tiling, and you can increase this to offset, and you can increase the tiling, maybe 0.5, 1. So you can little bit distort it, not much because the faces are now cracking. So you can use little bit, so that will help to randomize things. So maybe 0 and 0.2, 3. Okay. And then we can use a burst, maybe 50 particles. Not burst, let's use the spawn rate. 100 particles, and make the color not very dark, but almost dark. Okay. And then there are 200 particles. We are using the shape, maybe ring, and you can see the size. So we will see this is how much size we need. And the mesh size here, I will randomize it maybe 2 and 5, or maybe 10 for now, just to check the size of everything. So this should be here, and then there should be initial mesh orientation. It is random, cool, and the size maybe is okay. So from here we need a velocity, and velocity should be from the center, point velocity, and I will make it little down so it will move the particle little up, and this should be like 200 and 100 like this. Basically, when it's rotating, there should be a debris, and if I make it little more down, the particle will go up little bit like this. But you can also use the gravity, so they will come back like this, but not too much like this. And the size may be like 5 and 1. And then I will use the collision. And you can also use this analytical planes here, so you can see the collision here also. Let it compile. So this should be like 0 and 0, maybe minus 10, minus 20. Particle will collide here. And there's a bounce that I will reduce, maybe 0 and zero point 0.2. And there's a friction that I will randomize, maybe 0.2 and 3, like this. And this should spawn when it's increasing the size. So it increasing the size at zero point 0.5, and the life of the rings is 2. That means at 1 second. So you can add a 1 second delay here, and this should be like 3 and 1, total 4 seconds. So if you'll see now, debris are spawning at that time. Okay, and then it should finish after a while. So curve, let's make it 100. Yeah, and you can make it 500 like this. And then I will take a scale size also and make it float and make a curve. And after 0.7, this should scale down size. And initial size, I will not use uniform. It is 1 and 5, but I will use non-uniform 1 and 5. So there will be more randomness for each separate axis. Cool. And let's see how it looks. So basically, because we use analytical planes, so that's really up there. So basically, this should be everything should be down in the debris. First, we have the shape. So shape, if I turn the velocity off and also curve, gravity and collision, this is where my particles are spawning. So these should be down. So in the here offset minus 20, and let's check now. Yeah, it is almost there. So when I use the minus 20 here, so in the collision, this should be like minus 21 or minus 22, little down from the origin of spawning. So it's not working, so maybe minus 23, minus 23. And let's make it little up. Yeah, now it's working. So we got this, but these are not colliding. Uh, these are colliding here, but make it GP local. It's working weird, so we can also just oh, we were using analytical planes. Now this looks fine. And here, so now what I'll do, first thing is in the size, I will, in the spawn rate, I'll make it like 200. And then I'll copy this and paste it here in the debris. And in this one, I'll increase like 300. And I'll make the life maybe 1 and 0.5. And let's check. And I will use here vortex force, maybe 1000. Let it compile. Now you can see this force is working, but this is too high. Maybe 200 will be enough. And the size maybe 222 and point 2, very small size. Yeah, so we will have this. And this looks little late because the spawn rate takes time. So we can decrease the delay. So if I use zero point 0.8, this will be 3.2. And in this one also zero point 0.8 to 0.2. So now, yeah, now looks fine. Now we need that fire inside it and also some smoke maybe. And there's also a motion blur and a flash when it's increasing the size. These debris are not colliding, but it's okay. I used a collision. And actually, I'll duplicate the rings material, Control D, and call it M debris because I want to add something, and that is a normal. If I take the rock normal, like this one, or maybe this one, let's use this one and just connect it in the normals. So we will have, and I don't want that much, shine. So this will be like zero point 0.3 and the specular also like zero point 0.3. So if you check that on a sphere, you will have some normal like this. That will help. Now I will browse this and use it for my debris here and here. So now you can see the difference in the debris now looks better than before. Okay. And I also want some rotation in these one. So let's add the update rotation and I'll move it after the collision and then randomize the axis and -1, -1, -1. And I put a condition in rate. So let's use a lerp. And in lerp in the alpha, I will use it as a boolean. I will create a boolean. And the condition will be has collide. So if they are colliding, I don't want rotation. If they are not colliding, I want rotation. So if check, so actually we need to invert the values. There is rotation, and when they are colliding, the rotation is stopping. And I want random rotation, maybe 2 and -2. So there will be rotation. It's again compiling. Okay. And you can just copy and paste this here. Just drag with the Alt press. And that's it. So now we will add some smoke inside it. So let's create a emitter. Sorry, the fire. So I will use this fountain and call it fire. And in the sprite, I will use the fire texture material if I have. Actually, let's use the default starter content file here. So in my project, if I go down, starter content and particles, material, and there should be fire. And this is 6 by 6 fire, and I will use that here. And make this 6 by 6. Then take the animation here. This will be like 36 frame, 36. 0 plus this 36. And then I don't need velocity, I need sphere, and I will need gravity, and maybe 50. Let's check it. So let me save all this. So something wrong happened with my FX because it's not visible now. I don't know why. So it's now working. And the issue that I figured out was in the debris when I use update rotation and I copied it here, it was about above the collision, but it should be below the collision. So that was the issue. It was showing here in the Niagara, so Niagara log. So I just fixed that, and now it's working. So we were creating the fire. So what if I isolate it? We have this, and space size should be like 20, and the life should be like 0.5, 1, and this should be like fire color. Little randomness in the color, so I will make it this little red. Some will be like reddish. So we have this. Let's make this maybe 10. So basically, I want this to spawn at 0.8. So this will be 2.2. So this fire will spawn here, and I want to make the size of this like 50. The size of these maybe 50 and 40, like this. And then this should finish. So I will use a curve at 0.2. It will finish, and here we will use 100 maybe. Cool. And then let's check it here. When it's increasing the size, there should be a flash. And I will use this is even more bigger, maybe 100. And 100 maybe. You can also use vortex in for this, like 500, 1000. Not force, actually, vortex, velocity, 500. Yeah, cool. Then we need a hit mark when this increase in the size. So I will just copy this file and paste, and this will be my hit mark. Or you can say this decal. I will not use actual decal here. So in this one, I will just search here with mark, and I have lots of, but I will use this one. And this is not sub UV, and set this, and I don't need the sphere location or drag. No, yeah, I need this, no vertex. And I just need a spawn burst, one particle, and color should be white. It should be direct color, and there should be custom alignment and custom facing vector. Then take the align to the mesh orientation and use the z-axis. So, and then no random size, just use a size here, maybe 200. And if I check that, let it compile. If I'll see, we have this, and I think this is very small. Yeah. So maybe this is too much, 1000, maybe 800. Yeah, this much. And if I increase the alpha, yeah, now we can decrease the size, maybe, yeah, this much. So this is spawning here, and then it should fade, and the life should be constant. Maybe I will use 2 life, and this should fade after 0.5. So this will be like this. 5 maybe 1.8. 5 or maybe 1.6. So we have this, but this decal is here because we offsetted this. We need to make it down. So here -20, I guess that will work. Yeah. And the alpha is too sharp. Let's make it 2 or maybe 1. Yeah, we can increase size now, maybe 1000. Yeah, cool. And it should also be like fade in. So at 0.1 it is 1, but at 0 it should 0. It should not like pop little too fast, so I will make this 0.05 or 0.03. Yeah. And see, the fire is like looks like it's behind the decal. So I will make the shorting of fire 1. So it will be above the decal. And then I will duplicate it, copy and paste. And if I search, I have one more hit mark that is a little cracked. And in the material, you can see it's very basic. So basically, I will just move it little up, -19, and make this bright orange, maybe 50, maybe. So it will be our second, and we can reduce the size, maybe this much. Okay. And this should fade little earlier, maybe after 0.3 should start fade. I will break this and make this fade like this. And I will actually make this decal. So there is an issue, I think, that in both decals. So basically, the second decal is 1. It should be like 1. So it will be above that. And also, I want to change that material. So I will just Control D. And in here, I preview. I'll take a texture, noise to dissolve this, and then take a power and multiply this with this crack, and take a dynamic parameter. So save this. Now if I use this material here in the crack, if I isolate this, so it's fading. I don't want to fade it now. I want to dissolve it. So in the dynamic parameter, so it can now dissolve like this. Okay. So default value should be like 2, and then the last value should be like 20. So it should be like at zero point 0.5 it is 2, and at 1 it is 50, and I will make it little more bright, maybe 100. So now this should be like this. Not, oh, this should be like 20, not 50. Okay. So now, and size maybe a little down, 380. And I want to add something on the edge of this rotation. So I want to add a smoke. So I will copy the fire emitter and paste it here. And this will be a smoke ring. And instead of this, I will use smoke. And I have this 4x4 cloud pattern from the Photoshop. Okay, so it is not sequence, it is just random frame. And this is 4x4, sorry, 4x4. And this animation is random frames. I will put it here. And instead of linear, just take 0 to 15 frames. And the color should be dark. And instead of this sphere, I will use the ring. And this is like 100. And then we have vortex also. So this is, we have rotated smoke even faster, like this. And this is fading. This should fade in, fade out actually, like this. And now we need to match the ring size. So it is very small. And let's make the alpha a little high, and then increase the location to here. And also the particle size maybe 150 and 100. Yeah. So if you see now, we have this smoke, but one more thing, in the light, turn on this affect transparency, so it will also affect our smoke. So our smoke is also affected, and I want to make smoke ring little bigger, even more, and rotation little more faster. So this is 5,000 right now. So I will make 5,000 and like 8,000. And life maybe 1.2 and 1. I'll delete the drag. It's still not rotating fast. I don't know why it's happening, but it's happening. So, and then, yeah. Now look better and cool. So this now look better, and also I will duplicate it one more time, copy and paste. And this time I will increase the ring size even more, maybe 200. Not 200. In this one it is 146, 150 maybe. Why is it behaving weirdly? Okay, so let it be. And I want it to be a little darker. Yeah. and little softer and bigger, maybe 200, 150. And it looks weird here, but doesn't find in the viewport. So let's go with the viewport for now. And this is too much dark. Yeah, better. So next, they should be left some decal for longer. So the life of decal, I'll make it 2 and this one 1.8. And some flame should be left over. So I'll copy this fire and this. Now the delay should be like 2 seconds and this will be like 2. And if I isolate these flames, let's stop this. You can see how it looks. So instead of this sphere, or you can use a sphere if you want, just make the size 0 on the Z and then turn off the random rotation and add a velocity, little bit, maybe 5, and then align velocity. And I don't need vortex. And the light should be random, maybe 2 and 1, and the spawn rate should be like 50, like this, and not much brightness, maybe 5. The light should be like 1.5. So if we check, and size also like 20, and sphere size I'll use like 200. And I will use the color, maybe just one, and this thing also one. Maybe just one. Okay. So I will now refine it even more. So first, the last frames has a bigger area that I have to make a little smaller, maybe 10. And then I will add a flash. So I will take emitter fountain, and this will be my flash. So in the flash, I'll use delay of 2 seconds, and then I'll use the burst. Oops, sorry. Why is not deleting? Yeah, delete this. Okay, so I'm taking the burst and maybe 3 particles, and I don't need sphere location or this, and also this. And here I will use a flash material. The, maybe this one. This is very simple material. It has just this texture that is connecting to the opacity. So, and the color would be like 10. And some of the mass size maybe 500, 300. So you have this much size, and it's fading, and it should fade very fast. And also light should be like 0.2 and 0.1. So it will just fade like this. So let me check how it comes. I cannot see the flash. Flash is on the 2 second, but that rings scaling here at the 1 second. So I will just use a one delay here. So now I have these flash, but need to make even bigger, maybe 800 and 700. And also I'll use the camera offset, so it will be in front of that. So maybe 20, 50, 100. Okay, you can make it even brighter, maybe 20. Okay, and let's in the post, if I turn on the post and just turn this off. In the highlight, I will use little contrast. So the center part will be merged, okay, like this. But we don't have that here, so let's add here also. So because we will see that here. So volume and search the infinite, and then in, in grading, in the highlights, I'll use the contrast. May not be that much. Flash is little late. Let's make that maybe 0.8. And also in the post, I will use a lens flare little bit, and then I will use this, maybe not much. And what else we can do here? Actually, what we can do is this should like scale in very quickly. Like it's scaling from 2 to zero point 0.5. I'll make it like zero point 0.3 and make this zero point 0.4. So the gap between two keys is very low, very small. So this should now scale quickly. Yeah, now it's impactful. But those last flames I don't like much. So these flames I will make very small, maybe 30 and 5. Yeah, I think that's fine. It's look better now. And one more thing you can do in these, I can increase the WPO even more, maybe 30 or maybe 50, and make it also negative 50. Let me check. It's too much actually. Maybe 20 and minus 20. And power maybe zero point 0.5 to. Yeah, that's better now. Cool. So I think I will not add much things here, but you got the idea how to create these type of effects. And now you can definitely create that. Yeah. And those last flames, life maybe zero point 0.6, 0.3, and this thing 0.1. Yeah, and size maybe 50. And now it's better. Cool. So I will just finish this tutorial here, and maybe the last thing I will add is I will add distortion, heat distortion. So if I copy the snorkeling and paste it here and rename it heat distortion, and then instead of this, I will take a heat distortion material. If I open this, this is no, I will not use this one. Maybe different. Yeah, in this one I have a dynamic parameter to fade things out. Okay, so this one I will use, and you can see this. This is the same like we have in the starter content, just it has this dynamic parameter. So basically we have this, and if I just check it, if I go to preview and turn on my scene, you cannot see anything. And I take the dynamic parameter, and let's make this one. Now you can see that distortion, but now I want, instead of circle, I want sphere, and instead of this much particle, maybe just 20, but the size will high, maybe 500 and 400. So if I now check, we have this distortion. This thing should not be that much. Let me check it here. Yeah, actually, this is not for the sprite. I will tweak this. So what I'll do, I'll duplicate this distortion material, and I will use this here, and then I will edit this. So we have this is distortion one. So what I'll do, I'll take a radial, and this radial will go here, and the value here will be like 0, and this will be here for the 1. And yeah, that's it. And you can use the same radial here also instead of this thing. So let's try it now. If I now check in dynamic parameter, it is 1. And let's not use vortex for now, and these things also. And I don't need this sub UV also. So we cannot see anything. So at 1, we don't have distortion, but at 0, we have distortion. And if I make it -1, yeah, 0. So at 0, we have distortion. Okay. So we can animate it like this. So in between it should 0, and at the end it should 1. So they will be like fade in, fade out. Now we can turn this on. And if I'll check now, let me just delete those keys from now and check now. It's weird. Although if you check it here, it's not working the same as it should. So basically, this noise texture. Everything looks perfect, but it's weird. It's not working. Yeah, now it's working. So let's just use it. So if dynamic parameter is 1, we have it. If it is 0, we don't have it. So 1, save. So now it's weird that is not visible here at 1, but it is visible here at 1. Are we using the same material? Yes. Um, Everything looks fine to me, but it is weird. So let's just browse this material and delete this, and I will create a fountain. Use that material and increase the size, maybe 500, 400. And if I check, we have that distortion, right? That we need. So in the spawn rate, and here this should be like 2 and this 3, and the delay should be 1. And then here should be a curve. Maybe at point 2 it will stop, and here maybe 50. So we have distortion, right? In shape location, we can use it like 50, and we don't need velocity and we don't need gravity. Basically, we still have that distortion that we need. So if I just check it, yeah. So now we can make this like 10. Cool. So now we can decrease the size, maybe 100 and 200, and increase here 50. 5 people now, maybe 80. And then we can use the vortex. Yeah. And I will increase the size even more, maybe 150 of my sphere. And then, yeah, now it's better. Now you can see that. So now if we check it with the artifacts, and I will decrease the intensity of that little bit, maybe 0.5. Yeah, that's it. But it should finish earlier. So the life will be like 1.5 and maybe zero point 0.5, zero point 0.2. Yeah. So, but it's repeating. Let me check it is forward, then forward. Cool. Now we have also a distortion. And what else you want to use? Some sparks, I guess. So I will copy this file and add it here and call it Embers. So if I isolate this, let it compile. So yeah, and let me turn these off. So we have these little fire So instead of that, we need a radial material here, like this. And this is not sub UV, and we don't need this either. And the color would be very bright, maybe 10. And then this would be velocity aligned. And velocity should be like 120. So it will go up like this, and maybe this one. And the size I will use non-uniform. So 1, 5, 5, and maybe 30. And spawn rate maybe 200. And little more hot. And then I will add some curl noise also. Maybe 200, 500. So if I check it here, we have these sparks, and those sparks should emit for a while. And the size should be like 3 and 10. Yeah, better. And one more thing is some spark should be black. So for that, I need a translucent material. So in the color, I will make this -2 and make this and 5. So some will be little darker. Cool. And velocity should be random. So it is 20 and 100 right now. So I will make it 20 and 200. And yeah, that's it. Well, noise maybe 20, 200. And also size scale down after 0.5. But that's final, I think. Okay, so this is final. Thanks for watching. Keep learning, and bye bye.